Hello and welcome to my keto kitchen. I'm Victoria. Have you ever thought about making your own milk? Okay, I don't have a cow, I don't have a goat. I do not mean that you need any kind of animal for this. All you need is water, heavy cream, some allulose, and a tiny bit of xanthan gum. Now, let me show you. Okay, so this is one of my many little mad scientist books, and I had to break down traditional whole milk. So traditional whole milk has 3.25% fat. So if the rest is water, but it's 3.25% fat, so I did the math. I have a half gallon right here, which is 2 quarts of water. Into this 2 quarts, I added 3.25% of heavy cream, which is fat. So when I added 3.25% heavy cream to half of a gallon and I tasted it, it was super thin. And I was like, well, if whole milk tastes way thicker, then why doesn't this taste the same? Well, it's because of the emulsifiers. So white milk, yeah, I guess I can kind of go off the top of my head from here. White milk has 3.25% fat. However, what makes it taste thick is its emulsifier. So that actually means that white milk or just regular whole milk or 2% milk, they are very deceptive because what you're tasting, that thickness, that's not fat, that's an emulsifier. So I want to show you how you can make a 0 carb keto milk that tastes like white milk. Not identical because we're using a different fat. We're also using a cleaner sweetener alternative, things like that. It is very similar. It is not identical, but I wish I could let you taste it because it's great. Let me show you how to make this keto milk 0 carbs that will actually save you a lot of money in the grocery store. I do not like almond milk. I can endure coconut milk, but any kind of nut milk or coconut milk, I do not want it in my coffee. I also do not like straight heavy cream in my coffee. This I like in my coffee. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna make a little espresso over there to show you what it looks like. I'll tell you what it tastes like. It tastes great. I've made a few, it's really good. So let me show you how to make this 0 carb milk that'll actually save you a lot of money on your grocery budget. In the printable recipe card, I'm going to have 2 ways to make this. I'm going to have it for an entire gallon and for a half of a gallon, depending on which one you want at the time you make it. So I like half of a gallon. The first thing that I am going to add is half of a cup of heavy whipping cream. Also, half of a cup is actually 6.25% fat. I needed more fat because 3.25% fat was way too thin, and I'm not using all the emulsifiers that they use, so we needed 6.25% fat, which is half of a cup to half of a gallon. In an entire gallon, 6.25% is a full cup. Next is the sweetener option. So with milk, typically every 1 cup of milk has 11 grams of sugar. Now, I tried that, 11 grams per cup. I made that mixture. It was way too sweet. So some of their sugar's coming from the lactose in the milk. No, it was not good. You do not need 11 grams of sugar per cup of milk. You wouldn't want to drink it. So for a half of a gallon, you want 1/4 of a cup of allulose. If you're going to make a whole gallon, you need half of a cup of allulose, but all that information is in the printable recipe card. Now I am going to stir this up for a second so that the allulose has completely blended into the milk mixture. Now, the last step is what we have to use as an emulsifier. If we do not use some type of emulsifier, what's going to happen is after a day or 2 in your refrigerator, the liquid is going to separate from the fat. So the fat's going to rise to the top and you're going to have your water at the bottom. That's not a problem. If you don't want to use an emulsifier, all you have to do is mix it. You will have to mix it just about every time you use it, or once a day. You'll have to remix the fat in with the liquid, which I have done that. But if you don't want to do that, you want it to sit in your fridge and you don't want it to separate, you're gonna need 1/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. It's 1/4 of a teaspoon for a half gallon, or if you're gonna do a whole gallon, you need half of a teaspoon. So this is only 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm going to put this in here, and then I am going to use an immersion blender to blend it up. I want it blended really, really well. I don't want any lumps from the xanthan gum. So let's do this. Done. Now, I'm going to give you a close-up of my milk. After you use your immersion blender, you will find, just like if you were to froth milk, there's some frothing at the top. I'll take it out. Wow, I'm making a mess. I'll take it out so I can show you a good, clear view of my milk. This is my beautiful milk. The next thing I want to show you is how you can use this milk for something typical, like a cup of coffee. I'm going to make 1 espresso shot over here. Then I'm going to take this milk, I'm going to froth it in my frothing machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, so right here we have 1 espresso shot. And that is it. This is 0 carb milk, probably about $1 for a half of a gallon, if that. And there's no worries about, is it gonna work well in this recipe or that recipe? It works wonderfully in any kind of recipe that calls for regular milk. The difference between this and store-bought whole milk is that store-bought whole milk is 3.25% fat and a lot of an emulsifier to make it thick. This milk has more fat, 6.25%, but less of an emulsifier because there's more fat. So we have more healthy options here, 0 carbs, way healthier, more fat, more keto friendly for sure than regular whole milk. And in my opinion, the best thing is in a latte or a coffee. If you miss iced coffee and you don't like almond milk and you don't like coconut milk and maybe you can't get a hold of a Kroger's, and even the Kroger's milk that I use, there's 3 carbs per cup. There is 0 carbs per gallon of this milk. So if you make this, if you use it, and whatever you use it for, please put it in the comments down below. Let us know if you just want to drink it by itself. Actually, let me show you. And yes, you can just pour a glass of milk and just drink it. Balanced. It is balanced. I mean, it's perfect. You have to try this. Hello, Peppa. I have a visitor. Come here, babes. This is Peppa, and she jumps on the counter anytime I have milk, even though milk is not good for your tummy, right? Yeah, okay. When she sees white liquid, she's on this counter. Yes, I know. You have to taste it to know what it tastes like. It is very similar to milk. There's more fat, there's less of an emulsifier, but the thickness has balanced out because we added more fat. It's great. I mean, it's great. It's so good, and you save so much money, and it's way healthier on your body. I mean, it's a win-win. Okay. And coffee tastes like coffee again. It doesn't taste like a nut or a coconut. It just tastes like coffee. Coffee's just good again. So if you make this, please let us know. Please put it in the comments down below. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my Mad Scientist channel. I post every Tuesday and Friday, and you have a blessed day.